What if you vanished tomorrow and the world moved on like nothing happened? No tears, no memories, just silence. Would anyone even feel your absence? We all wake up, run through our days, chasing things, but losing ourselves. Somewhere deep inside, we all feel it. That quiet fear, what if I'm just surviving, not really living? This is the story of a life half lived, of moments missed, of truths we never speak until it's too late. But this time, the voice inside won't stay quiet. It's asking one powerful question. When you're gone, who will cry when you die? There was once a man who always said, someday. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll follow my passion. Someday I'll make things right. But that someday never came. One morning he just didn't wake up, and the world didn't stop. People went on with their lives. No tears, no whispers, no memory strong enough to last. He was gone, and slowly so was his story. He had lived, but not really. He had breathed, moved, worked, existed, but not truly lived. He was always busy scrolling, busy chasing things, busy trying to look perfect for a world that never cared. He forgot to notice the sky, forgot to call his parents, forgot to smile at strangers or sit alone and think. He thought he had time. We all do. We live like tomorrow is guaranteed. We push dreams to next year. We ignore the people we love, thinking they'll always be there. But life doesn't knock. It just enters. And sometimes, it ends. If today was your last day, would you be proud of how you lived? Would you regret the things you didn't say? Would anyone cry for you? Or would life just move on? It's a hard question, but it's the only one that matters. Because most people are not afraid to die. They're afraid to die with nothing meaningful to leave behind. Not fame, not followers, but love, kindness, memories, change, something small that made someone else's world a little better. We all get one life, and every moment you waste thinking I'll do it later is a moment you'll never get back. Listen closely. There's a voice inside you, a soft whisper that speaks in the silence. It's asking you to wake up, to live like you matter, to stop waiting and start living. Because one day your time will run out, and only one question will remain. Who will cry when you die? Every morning, he opened his eyes, but he didn't feel alive. He got out of bed, went through the same routine, smiled at people, laughed at jokes, but inside, he was tired. Not the kind of tired sleep could fix. The kind that comes from carrying invisible weight for too long. His phone was full. Notifications, messages, endless noise. But his heart? Empty. He kept saying he was fine, but every night he felt this strange ache, a feeling that something was missing, but he couldn't explain what. It wasn't about the job, or money, or success. It was something deeper. Something inside him was slowly dying, and no one could see it. Not even him. There was a battle going on, not outside, but within. A part of him wanted to change, to be free, to wake up with purpose, to stop pretending, and finally be real. But the other part? It was scared. Scared of failure. Scared of being judged. Scared of leaving the comfort of the life he already knew. So he stayed stuck, scrolling, comparing, chasing things that left him more empty than before. He wanted peace, but kept inviting chaos. He wanted silence, but couldn't live without noise. He wanted meaning, but filled his life with distractions. We all do this. We hide our pain behind a smile. We bury our dreams under doubts. We run from the truth, not because it's hard, but because it asks us to change. But the truth never leaves. It sits quietly, waiting, for the moment we get tired of pretending, for the day we finally look in the mirror and ask, what happened to me? Where did I go? You can't fight the world if you haven't faced yourself. You can't fix your life if you keep avoiding the war inside your mind. But here's the thing. The voice that tells you you're not enough isn't yours. It was planted there by fear, by the past, by people who never saw your worth. And now, it's time to take that voice back, to fight for your peace, to choose silence over noise, discipline over distraction, and truth over comfort. Because the real battle isn't outside. It's you versus you, and the one who wins will decide the story people tell when you're gone. He used to think life had to be big to feel important. More money, more fame, more speed, but the more he chased, the more lost he felt. Until one day he just stopped. He paused, and in that stillness, he saw something he hadn't seen in years. A bird singing on a wire. A little child laughing with no reason. A quiet sunset no one was watching. And suddenly he understood. Maybe the things that matter most aren't loud. Maybe peace lives in the small. He started to slow down, walked without headphones, drank tea without checking his phone, watched the sky turn orange without needing to take a picture. And in those simple moments, he felt full. Full in a way no achievement had ever made him feel. It wasn't easy. His old life kept calling. Faster. Busier. Better. But he didn't want busy anymore. He wanted meaning. He wanted space to breathe, to feel, to just be. He stopped trying to impress people who didn't care, stopped buying things he didn't need, stopped chasing things that only made him feel more empty. And as he let go, life became lighter. He started noticing things. The sound of his own breath, the smile of a stranger, the way light touched the wall in the morning. He began to see that happiness was never far away. It was just buried under the noise. And slowly, he planted new seeds. Not of wealth or status, but of simplicity. He started reading again. Not to finish fast, not to show off, just to enjoy the words he wrote in a journal, not for likes, not for followers, but to understand himself. He walked in nature, talked less, listened more, and with each quiet act, something inside him healed. He didn't need more, he just needed less of what didn't matter. And maybe that's the secret no one tells you. That the most beautiful life is often the simplest one. Because peace doesn't shout, it whispers. And only those who slow down will ever hear it. He had found silence, but silence alone wasn't enough. Because even the calmest heart needs a fire burning inside it. And he felt it. That spark, that untold energy. The part of him that still wanted to rise, still wanted to fight, still wanted to create something that outlives him. He was tired of standing in his own way, tired of waiting for permission, tired of being scared of what others would think. So he did something strange. He faced his fear on purpose. He stood in front of the thing he had always run from and walked straight into it. And the moment he did, he felt alive. Not because it was easy, but because it was real. The fear was still there, but so was the courage. And courage always starts small, like a whisper, like a flicker, until you feed it. So he started feeding it. He got up earlier even when he was tired. He trained his mind like a muscle. Even when it was easier to scroll, he started finishing things, the hard things, the boring things, the things he used to quit halfway through. And in that discomfort, he started to grow. Not just in skills, but in strength, in belief, in self-respect. He didn't wait to feel motivated. He just started. And somewhere along the way, the fire inside him stopped flickering. It roared. He realized that everyone wants change, but only a few are willing to face the pain that comes with growth. Only a few are willing to choose sweat over shortcuts, discipline over distractions, purpose over comfort. But those few, they build lives others only dream of. And no, he didn't become perfect. He failed. He doubted. But he kept showing up, because deep down he knew the greatest war was never against the world. It was against the weaker version of himself. And every time he chose effort over excuse, he won a little more of himself back. That's how greatness begins, not with applause, not with talent, but with fire. A fire that says, I refuse to live small. He had built many things, habits, routines, goals. But when he looked closely, he saw something missing. Something that no success could replace. Something he had been avoiding for years. People, not the ones he worked with or replied to in messages, but the ones who once held his hand when he was afraid. The ones who waited for his time. The ones he forgot while chasing everything else. He remembered his mother's voice, fading in calls he didn't return. His friend's message left unseen. The love he let drift away because he thought there would always be time. But there wasn't. And now, the silence between them was louder than words. He realized that success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. That no trophy, no achievement, no follower count could ever replace a warm hug or a genuine laugh shared in person. And he missed it. He missed the old times, not because they were perfect, but because they were real. So he made a quiet promise to himself. He would show up. He would call first. He would listen without looking at his phone. He would say sorry, even when it hurt his pride. Because life isn't measured in years, it's measured in memories. And memories are made with people, not posts. He forgave those who had hurt him, not because they deserved it, but because carrying hate was too heavy. He said, I love you more often, not just in his mind, but out loud. He looked people in the eyes. He said thank you with meaning. He made time for coffee, for walks, for nothing. Because the truth is, people leave. Sometimes slowly, sometimes all at once. And when they're gone, it's not their words you miss. It's their presence. Their laughter in a room. The way they made the world feel safe for a moment. He looked in the mirror, and for the first time, he didn't see just himself. He saw the people who had shaped him, helped him, held him when he couldn't hold himself. And he knew, no legacy is complete without love. No story is whole without others in it. So he chose to love, even if it meant breaking his walls. Because in the end, it's not how many people cried when you died. It's how many smiled when you were alive. There were things he held on to for years, old arguments, unanswered messages, moments that hurt him, but he replayed them anyway, again and again, like a wound he wouldn't let heal. He carried those memories like heavy stones in his heart, things people said, things they didn't say. The mistakes he made, the apologies he never got. At first, he thought holding on made him strong, that remembering every pain would protect him from more. But over time, he saw the truth. It wasn't protection. It was prison. He was stuck in a past that didn't exist anymore, wasting his present on people who weren't even thinking about him, living in the shadows of things he couldn't change. He kept comparing his life to others, kept scrolling through pictures, wondering why they looked happier. He judged himself by timelines that were never his to follow, and every time he tried to move forward, the past pulled him back. Whispers of shame, guilt, and what-ifs. Until one quiet morning, he asked himself something simple. What if I just let it go? What if I stop trying to fix what's already broken? What if I stop chasing answers that don't matter anymore? What if I set down the weight that was never mine to carry? And so he did. Not all at once, but slowly. He started forgiving people who never said sorry. He started forgiving himself for not knowing better back then. He started deleting things, old photos, saved messages, regrets that lived in reminders. He stopped needing to be right. He stopped needing to win every argument in his mind. He chose peace, not because the past didn't hurt, but because it hurt too much to keep dragging it behind him. He unfollowed the noise. He stepped back from things that drained him. He stopped proving his worth to people who never saw it. And as he let go, he felt lighter. For the first time in years, he could breathe without bitterness, smile without forcing it, sleep without thoughts pulling him down. Letting go didn't mean forgetting. It meant choosing freedom over fear. It meant trusting that what's ahead matters more than what's behind. And in that choice, he found a strange kind of power. The kind that doesn't scream. The kind that doesn't need revenge. Just quiet strength, and a heart finally free. He thought he had all the time in the world, until the clock ticked louder. There came a moment when he realized life wasn't waiting. Each second that slipped away was a page unwritten in the story he was meant to leave behind. He had chased money, fame, comfort, yet deep inside a voice whispered, "What will you be remembered for?" It wasn't about how much he had, but how deeply he lived. The people he touched, the values he stood for, the courage he showed when no one was watching. As the noise of the world faded, he started building something greater. Something no fire could burn, no time could erase. A legacy. Not of wealth, but of meaning. Not of things, but of truth. One act of kindness, one hard decision, one honest step at a time, he was writing the ending he wished someone had written for him. And maybe, just maybe, that story would live forever. He no longer chased perfection. He danced with progress. Every day he moved, not with haste, but with intention. While others waited for motivation, he built momentum. Failure didn't frighten him anymore. It taught him. Criticism didn't crush him, it sharpened him. He was a student of life, and life was his dojo. Mastery was not a destination, it was motion. It was found in the early mornings, the late nights, the repetitions no one clapped for. It was in showing up when no one asked him to. In falling, learning, and rising again and again. While others spoke of potential, he became proof. Silent, focused, relentless. And in every breath, in every move, he refined not just a skill, but a self. He realized life wasn't built in years, but in moments. Not the loud ones, but the quiet ones. The unspoken glance, the gentle smile, the silent support when no one else noticed. He found magic in sipping tea at dawn, in helping a stranger without being asked, in pausing just to breathe deeply and feel alive. The world raced for milestones, but he stood still for memories. Because the heart doesn't remember numbers or trophies, it remembers how it felt. Who held your hand when you were weak? Who stayed when you were lost? Who laughed with you, not at you? He chose presence over perfection, connection over applause. And in doing so, he didn't just live time, he honored it. In the end, it wasn't the big wins that defined him. It was the small, sacred moments, the ones that truly mattered. He often wondered, what will remain when I'm gone? Not the money, not the medals, not the followers, but the impact, the love, the quiet echoes of his kindness. Because one day, the world will go on. Streets will buzz, the sun will rise, and his name may not be spoken. But the way he made people feel, that could live forever. He chose to live not for applause, but for legacy. Not the kind carved in stone, but in hearts. He forgave even when it hurt. He listened when others ignored. He lifted spirits when no one was watching. He believed that success without soul is hollow, and that a life full of meaning leaves trails even in silence. So when the final page is turned and the story ends, will it be a story worth remembering? Will someone pause, smile, and whisper, "He made a difference"? That is the real question. Who will cry when you die? This video takes us on a soul-stirring journey into the heart of life's most powerful question. Who will cry when you die? It's not about the riches we collect or the applause we chase. It's about the silent impact we leave behind. A life lived with meaning, compassion, and purpose. We met a man who chose depth over noise, legacy over likes. He lived in a way that his absence would be felt, not because he was famous, but because he made people feel seen, heard, and loved. In my opinion, this message isn't just powerful, it's necessary. In a world chasing speed, this video reminds us to slow down and ask the question that really matters. Are we just existing, or are we truly living in a way that touches hearts? This story moved me deeply, and I hope it sparks something inside you too. If this message connected with your soul, don't stop here. We've shared many powerful journeys like this, stories that make you think, reflect, and grow. The links are in the description, waiting for you. Go watch them. And if you believe in building a life that truly matters, support us by liking this video, leaving a comment with your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribing to our channel. Let's grow together, one meaningful story at a time.